Great stuff.
Can you play any faster than that? I'll tell you.
I know.
You'd have to play that fast to keep up with the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation.
Yeah.
And it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you very much, Ray.
Happy birthday.
Well, I tell you, that was a good compliment. Thank you very much. And Cowboy said he's going to reference me at 5:15 today on celebrity birthday. So I said, it's good to know I reached the status of celebrity. So thank you very much, Cowboy, I told him. So I tell you, there's a lot of birthdays in January. I told you, Ray, we talked about this on the show, and our parents did something on that particular month, 9 months prior to January. There was a lot of activity. I don't know if there was a break in trapping or what was going on.
Well, there was no television.
There was no internet. They couldn't have the cells to be texting. So
That's right.
Busy other ways. Yeah, I tell you, there's a lot of birthdays. Let me start off with saying happy birthday to Marlena Peranto. Thomas Peranto, his daughter's happy 16th birthday, and Laurie Parker also out in. He's actually moving to Barrows. He's in Swan River. He works, of course, in the bush. That's Maria Parker's husband. Mm-hmm. Anita Campbell, he had a chance to celebrate at the office. Of course, with a tiny crowd, you can't. The COVID steals everything from everybody. So happy birthday again. But we definitely had masks and everybody's far apart. And it was good to see her being so happy. But she actually has an injured foot. Barbara Fleury, that's of course John Fleury's wife. Happy birthday to her. Her birthday was January 22nd. I believe it's about the same time. I think Yvonne's is January 21 or 22nd. I think he turned 70 this year. So happy birthday, Yvonne Dumont. Daniel Chartrand, unfortunately, he was in a serious hit in hockey. He got a scholarship. Of course, he played in the United States in college, and he broke his collarbone. Ooh. And he had a bunch of operations over there. Thank God for Francis making sure he had protection and benefits, and hospitalization was covered through the benefit program. And he's now recovering out in the United States, and it's his birthday same day as mine. So happy birthday to Daniel out there. I don't know if he's listening, but I had a chance to sing happy birthday to my nephew. And of course, we are all worried back here regarding his injury. And Sharon, also from housing, used to be in housing at the Federation, and happy birthday to her. Same day as mine. And then there's Richard Janai, my nephew. His birthday's tomorrow. He's a minister, of course, for youth and culture. And also Associate Minister Joanne Remillard, Sunday, January 24th. And Kevin Janai is Monday, January 26th. So I tell you, these husbands and wives were so busy. If you count back 9 months, I don't know exactly what month that would be. But I tell you, they were quite active. Yeah, a lot of them. I'm sure I'm missing lots of birthdays out there.
You know, if you check back, you can see they were off that day.
Usually throughout my career, even when I worked for the Department of Justice, I never went to work on my birthday. That was a special time for me to have my day. So I've always kept that as a tradition. But today's Saturday, and I'm not at the office, so I can relax at home. And my wife is cooking me a nice meal. Mm-hmm. She said, whatever you want, you got on your birthday. And then this morning, Ray, I woke up to 61 golf balls in my yard with a big golf club, and a big happy birthday, turning 61, advertised quite loudly in my neighborhood. So everybody knows I'm getting old out there myself. And as Vincent said, you're getting old, David. You need to tell us your plan. We need a plan in case something happens to you. So, but it's such a good feeling to be loved by so many. The texts I'm getting right across, in fact, from Saskatchewan, all over the place, in British Columbia, Ottawa, and across Manitoba. I want to say thank you to everyone that is so kind to say happy birthday to me and show their appreciation. And I'm proud that so many people love me and take care of me, and as I take care of them. So I'm very, very proud of that, and that people have such high regard for me, and I'm very appreciative of earning that right. And I continue to work hard to make sure I maintain that right.
Well, you have earned that right, David.
Thank you very much, Ray. And something that's very important to me, and I work very hard to make sure that people know that I'm fighting hard for them. In fact, I had a meeting with Mayor Bowman just to go quick some updates, because I got to always keep people posted what's going on. And I talk about the Bay, the board on the Bay. So they'll be probably inquiring if the MMF wants to sit on there. And Mayor Bowman and I had a very good discussion. And so we looked at the city, because I did advise them. The Métis government's going to own a hotel down in Portage and Fort, not to buy. Hopefully, construction will start this year and we'll complete it by next. And we'll have a beautiful 39 or 41 apartments designed. It's going to be a special boutique hotel, and it'll be owned by the Métis government and the Métis people of Manitoba. So And, of course, we already own the Bank of Montreal right in the corner there. So our footprint's getting wider. And right across, not far from there in Hellas, we will own also the National Research Centre, one segment of the buildings. It's 80,000 square foot, and that'll be owned by the Métis government and Métis people. So our footprint is going, I told the mayor. So, but the Bay had a big impact on us, both, of course, through the fur trade and the many challenges that we faced with the Bay. Hudson Bay, of course, was quite dominant in the fur trade and wanted to make sure they kept the monopoly. And, in fact, if you look at history, the whole issue of our battle sometimes occurred with them. And but there was also people who worked for them, our Métis citizens. So there's good and bad. And I think we have a role to play given the connection we have with the Hudson Bay Company and its role it played in the impact of the Métis people. So Mayor and I had a good discussion, and we'll probably continue that discussion in the months and weeks to follow. I also had a chance to talk to Minister Lawrence Macaulay, Minister of Veterans, and I thanked him again for the apology to all the veterans that he gave on behalf of Canada in September last year. And, of course, I advised them how proud we are, how fast our citizens are quite proud across our nation. We're already invested $20 million in the legacy fund, which will be there forever. We already in over 2 months earned over $100,000 in interest bearing, and we'll earn more, of course, throughout the year. And we'll probably introduce another $5 million shortly into that legacy fund, and that'll be permanently forever. And we anticipate a rate to earn a little over $1 million a year, and that'll be available for citizens and organizations and Métis governments to be applying for. And that'll be a big opportunity for the children of veterans also. Their legacy. We're not sure to the broadness of it. Some have recommended some set aside for education. Some want monuments. Some want the parks, investment on parks, developing their own historical connection to World War II veterans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of opportunity that'll be made available, and we're going to hear people's opinions on that as we move forward. But they'll be starting off $1.5 million that people can apply to. So it's a legacy that'll be forever, right? And that's the beauty about creating legacies, is that they're there forever. So you'll never forget World War II veterans, Métis veterans. As long as we live on this planet, that legacy will last forever. And that's what the veterans wanted more than anything, the respect they deserved and the respect they earned. And many gave their lives, and many died young coming back because of the horror and the hardship they faced upon return, and nobody cared for them. So that is something I'm so proud of, and I had a very good discussion with Lawrence. He was very pleased as the minister. And the discussion we'll have forward, there'll be a national video coming in which he'll be giving his remarks, I'll be giving mine, and we're going to try to have a 30-minute video that will be played nationally in Canada, and we'll have many of our veterans that we videotaped and their spouses on the video, and just people in general, talking about just the beauty of our hard-working, dedicated, willing to give their life citizens that were there, and we need to honor them for as long as they live on this planet and even after. So, again, we had also toured some properties. We actually are looking at Breezy Point. We had a chance to go with Anita Campbell as the Minister of Women, of course, spokesman of Métis Women Manitoba, and Minister of Finance, and Francis Chartrand was also there, Minister responsible for all Aboriginal daycare, which you call it, and Métis daycare for us. And so that's going to, of course, we already have our first site in Duck Bay. Second is St. Eustatius under construction, Dauphin's under construction, on and on and on. So we're going to look at the site because we're looking at specifics now. We want to address a challenging issue that our people face when it comes to addictions. We're looking at shelters for Métis women that need to be protected and need a space with their families to reinvigorate themselves in a different pathway if necessary on a premise if they find themselves in an abusive relationship, or those that are struggling. And we do know there's an epidemic of people still popping pills in our villages, in which we worry so much about, and I don't know if they realize the damage they're doing to their internal organs, and that later on in life they're going to pay a dear price for if they don't stop quickly. The consequences are going to be great, and so we need to help them get out of this addiction situation they're in. So we looked at that site, and we also own another one on West St. Paul, and we want to look at that site. The beautiful used to be a bed and breakfast. It's really beautiful. So we're looking at two different options, and but we will probably be announcing something soon that'll start to address helping our women and our families that need to be protected, and those that need to wait or get assistance when it comes to addictions, whether it's alcohol or drugs, because there is an issue, or pills. There is an issue because you go to AFM or any of these places that are available, you got to wait sometimes 2 years.
Wow.
And so we need to find a place that we can definitely put and assist our families as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping that announcement will come soon. We're working on that as we move forward. Also had a good continued discussion with Minister Vandel and also Minister Miller's office. We were working diligently on the vaccines and making very clear that Métis will be including a vaccine. A meeting did take place with Minister Heather Stephens, the new Minister of Health, and she had a meeting with our Minister, Francis Chartrand of Health, and they discussed about sitting on the actual task force that distributes and rolls out the vaccines in Manitoba, that we be also sitting at that same table. They're getting back to us on Tuesday, so we'll see from there, and I'll keep the people posted on that. Of course, we're not going to let this government, particularly the Premier, it's not the government, it's the Premier, and you can't say enough that this Premier is taken such a vindictive attitude. And people say, is David overdoing by saying this guy is vindictive? Because let me say this. I'll give you a perfect example that I'm so right in what I say because I experience it, and the Métis people know it by what's happening to us. And other Manitobans may not see it because Palliser thinks he's clever enough to twist words around. But I'll show you proof of that now, Ray. And I was actually disgusted with it when he attacked Chief Hudson. Chief Hudson and his band and his counselors, you've got to give them credit. They worked diligently on putting an action plan because they want to make sure that they can salvage Christmas in some form or some fashion, where they let one family member return back to reserve because their people also live off reserve. And only one person was allowed. So if you had a family of 4 or 5, as a parent, you only had the right to choose one child to come home. But it was at least giving them hope that at least somebody in their family come home. But they had a very well-structured plan. So what does Premier do on December 14th? He attacks him. Instead of compliments him or saying, well, I hope your plan's going to work. I hope it's well thought out. I think it is. And if there's anything we can do, let's work together and help you. But instead he attacks him. And he asked the federal government to step in and stop him from doing it. Then what did he do 2 days ago in a TV, right on our provincial TV that Elvis see, probably nationally? He attacks him again. He doesn't forget this December 14th issue. He goes back and say, see, you did your lap too soon, and here your victory lap. Look what is happening now to the reserves. Now there's COVID spreading out rapidly everywhere. And he's blaming him for that on December 14th. That's over a month ago. And he hasn't let go because Glenn proved he was right. Glenn proved he had a strategy. And the same would have happened to our province, to all Manitobans, if Palliser did not cut the health care and slash it as much as he did 2 years before this virus came into our province and into our country, into the world. If he didn't attack the health system and go after it and have no plan, doing like Trump did, having no plan, hoping it's going to go right by us and it's not going to hit us, and phase 2, he was now caught completely off guard and his thumbs completely lost, not knowing what to do with himself, Like he didn't know where to put his thumbs in his ears to block all the yelling that was coming his way, or put the thumbs over his eyes to see that he just caused a massive amount of people dying in misery in this province. But instead, he takes this vindictive, grinding an axe, getting even attitude to another leader and attacks the leader and makes it very clear to him that it's his fault for what happens now in the north. And Peguis is in the south. So it just shows you what I've been saying from the get-go, Ray, that this Premier has such a vindictive, axe-grinding, I'll pay you back style. I'm going to punish you for not listening to me. I'm the king. Everybody has to listen to me. I'm the Premier. And he's telling Canada that he has jurisdiction. He should have jurisdiction on reserves. And the Chiefs are telling him no way in hell. So, and then this is what you call the cat's meow, where this guy is so out of touch with issues in this province. When you look to Chief Satie's message, which is very powerful, he says the reason our epidemic is growing faster, we're overcrowded. There's sometimes 16, 20 people living in one house. And how do you expect to isolate? So of course it's going to rapidly change when they're asymptomatic, and before you realize, they just spread it amongst all of their family members in that house. So of course it's going to spread faster for us in the north because we're not as rich as you, Palliser. We don't have big houses, whether it's in Costa Rica or a bigger house in Ports de Prairie, or else in Winnipeg. So you start looking at where the attitude from this Premier comes, and he tries to blame somebody else, and now trying to blame Chief Hudson it's shameful, very, very shameful. So I kudos to Chiefs that are working so diligently, so hard to make a difference for the people. You look at Pine Creek, which is next door to Duck Bay. Understand people in Pine Creek, a couple of them have positive. They went to a funeral in Duck Bay, and which got maybe a little out of control, a little bit more, too much people attending, based on the fact it was a young baby. And apparently that COVID positive was inside that room. So when you look at it, now everybody has to isolate, completely lockdown. But there was already talk of people from Dauphin making their way into Duck Bay, possibly having COVID. So you'll start looking at those things. These are things that people need to take, especially young generation. You need to be careful. You need to be very, very assured that you wear your mask, washing your hands. And if you're going to a function where you see people of more 5 or less that are in the crowd, which you're entitled to have outside now, 5, then be very careful. Make sure you're okay. Make sure you don't have a cold. Make sure your taste buds are okay. Make sure that you don't have fever. All these other symptoms that tell you might have it. Be so careful because you can spread it so quick and somebody's life can be lost. And then you have to live with that for the rest of your life. So, again, these are examples where the Premier is out of touch with Manitobans, especially when it comes to Indigenous people, completely out of touch. So, again, I want to express my gratitude to the chiefs that are working so hard to make a difference for their people. And I know Pine Creek's under lockdown right now. You got to get a pass to go through to Duck Bay, to go to my village now. You got to go through Pine Creek to get to Duck Bay. You need a pass to go through there, and they'll let people from Duck Bay pass through. And my minister, of course, and Francis, the Vice President, is dealing with the chief in Pine Creek so we can work jointly together, and now we tackle this issue. Now, Ray, on the COVID test site that we have, I went and did it on Thursday. Of course, in our policy at the Federation, if you're negative, even though the findings come back, you have to still stay away 48 hours to make sure that it didn't miss it, and et cetera, that you don't have symptoms after a test. In fact, my test came back in 3 hours, Ray.
Oh, all right.
3 hours. I knew already I was negative. I'm so proud of that system that was designed by Francis and Anita on our COVID team to work with our staff and intrinsic. Of course, you got to make an appointment with her. Already Métis citizens are going there, especially those that need to know quickly. We have sometimes, like I said, I had a 3 hour turnaround, and my test came back. So this a little sting in your nose. I want to show the people that it's safe. I want to test it myself. It is in the St. Boniface Hospital location, right. But you got to get details of how to get there because, of course, St. Boniface is a monster location, monster buildings all around. So you need to make sure you make an appointment, and they'll guide you how to get to the building. So make sure you call because we had a hard time finding it ourselves. We were driving around trying to get into because there's so many one-ways there, trying to find our way inside there. But if you're feeling you need to get a test for work or something quickly to establish yourself, or you feel that you're getting some symptoms as a Métis citizen, contact that number right away. There's a 1-833 390-1041. So you call that. Again, I'll repeat it: 1-833-390-1041. Just go on our website and you'll find it, and call there and make an appointment. So we want to make sure our people are fully aware that the opportunity is there. We will share that. We told that to the province, but again, Pallister wrote a negative, called it redundant, and saying, how's he going to share this with us? Simple, by sending it to you in an email. But why is he so shocked? How is he going to share this with us? You shouldn't be doing this. Why? You're not collecting data of our people. You're not having a plan for our people. So you think the Métis government is going to just sit here and watch you abuse my people? Are you crazy? You don't know who you're talking to. So our government is adapting to the change and making clear we're going to protect our people. But also right now we will know when our people have tested positive, we can then work with the family.
Right.
We can make sure we connect with the entire family, not just the brother and sister or the husband and wife. We'll talk with the entire family. We need to make sure the entire family is working in unison. The community is working in unison. So we're all working together to make sure that no one dies or no one gets severely sick.
Right. We've
got to protect our people, and that's one way we'll be able to, because the province is not yet sharing data with us. So when a Métis citizen gets it, they don't collect that data. When a Métis family in a community gets it, they don't collect that data. So they don't tell us who's got it, who doesn't have it. So then we're guessing now. Marks and Telegraph, word of mouth. That's not the way a business should be run. So this new site we have definitely will make a big change maker for us. And I'm also, again, echoing to Canada, if the province still doesn't change its mind by next week, I'm hoping Eder Stephenson will have some authority as a minister to do the right thing. I have good respect for Eder Stephenson. I've known her for a long, long time. But again, the Premier is a very dictatorial type of leader. So he may not let her lead and just give her the title as minister, but tell her that she can't or cannot work with us or do it. If she decides to stand up, I think she has a chance to show the right way in Manitoba for the Métis, and that we can work with them and getting this resolved, and that we too can have a plan where we can have a rollout for vaccines, that we can start to organize and take care of our seniors, our elders immediately. That's the number one priority. Our frontline workers, we need to take care of them. We need to protect them. We have child family workers who are still out there working. We need to protect them as quickly as we can. We need to protect our elderly, because those are the ones with the highest chronic illnesses, and those are more susceptible to die if they get COVID. So, again, when you look at it from that standpoint, we need to know what rollout vaccine are we going to have. The First Nations, I commend them for their hard work. They got 5,300 as a first rollout. So they've definitely now assisted 5,300 individuals, citizens of their First Nations that have been able to get vaccinated. So we, too, want to make sure that our citizens will have a certain amount, whether it's 5,300 at our first rollout, that we can start a plan across the province and of course, in the urban centre. So, again, Ray, we're pushing this very, very hard, and we're going to make it very clear that the Métis do matter in this province. We found this province, and as I always said, Pallister, your day is coming, and we're just going to wait you out, and normalcy will come back to this province, where respect will come back. And as I said, I don't make this stuff up. I'm telling you the facts as they are, and I always speak what I know is real. I don't make up stuff. And I know this Premier has been very vindictive to our people, because we challenged them on the hydro deal. Of course, we're still in court on that. And I now can prove it so simply by seeing him not let go of Glenn, who did not follow his 100% his direction, and said, look, we also have a plan. And obviously, he didn't bother checking with us or asking our opinion or view. And so here's our government has this plan. And yet you think he'd let go of that over a month ago? He didn't. He comes after him over a month later to attack him and blame him for the North and what's happening in the growing, of course, amount of viruses that are hitting in the North. So, again, with all that, I express to our people, be strong, be united, and help each other. Also, in closing, Ray, I want to say there's a pressing matter of national issue that are coming our way. The board in British Columbia removed their president, Clara Morin-Delco, and Clara is a very good friend of the Métis government in Manitoba. She's a big supporter of protecting our homeland and our nation, our citizens, our nationhood, and our criteria. And the board, again, these backroom deals that are being made by these bushwhackers, I'll call them, these traitors in many ways. And I'm hoping to say that, Ray, they're willing to sell down our nation to let Ontario come in with all of those new people. We will never allow it to happen. Our assembly gave me the guidance already to do everything in my power to stop it and fight vigorously. So she just got reelected in September with a very good margin, and the board removed her because she told on the board that they were supporting Ontario. And she said, the board said to her, you can't speak to the people no more. You speak to us, and we'll tell you what you can say.
Wow.
Basically, that's the reason why they got rid of her, and they were trying to give themselves a 170% raise. And so she said no to that. And so they removed her, and they punished her for telling the people in a letter what's happening. And they said, you're now no longer a president because you have to get permission from us what you can talk to the people about. Unbelievable. What happened to democracy? If Gabriel Dumont was alive, he probably shot all of them over there already, all those traitors. So you start looking at it from that concept. It's unbelievable what's happening. But I assure the MMF government will protect and stand up with President Clara Delco and stand up to protect the Métis Nation, our citizens, who we are. We're never going to let nobody sell us down and water us down and create a pan-Aboriginal nation where anybody can join as long as they have mixed blood. It ain't going to happen. We waited 200 years to get where we are, and there's no way in hell we're going to give it away now. We finally got our harvesting rights. We got education. We got housing funds. We're getting health legislation, child welfare legislation. Now everybody in the East wants our money, wants our rights, and they're all saying, well, we have a right because we're mixed blood. I don't care. You're mixed blood of somebody else, but you're not us. And so, in fact, the First Nation Algonquins have taken Ontario, Métis Nation Ontario to court on, again, their attempt to allow Mattawa and all those other places that are declaring themselves as Métis, that's their land and their right to harvesting in their territory, and where the Algonquins are saying this is not your territory, it's never been your territory, and definitely they're also probably recognizing that they're not the Métis Nation. that we're from the prairies. We're not from Ottawa and Barrie, Ontario, Toronto, and all those places. We've never been from there. In history, all of our citizens that are listening on the show know that. All First Nation listening to the show know that.
Yeah.
And we're from the prairies. Our nation's from here, and there was never a war in Ontario to fight against us to protect our lands and our homes and our families. That war happened in Manitoba and Saskatchewan.
You know what you should do?
Pardon me?
You should send these people a copy of my Conchita Kowalski record.
That's exactly it. That's who wants to be Métis. That's what's next. But you know what? Kowalski's coming. So, but again, it just shows you. So, see, these are all kind of things that also I got to work on the side on. They're just not worrying about the operations of the government. I got to look at all the politics that's happening around our government and make it very clear. I have a strategy to protect our citizens and our families, and definitely our nation. So, again, with that being said, thank you all for all your kindness and your happy birthdays. Also want to say happy birthday to Neil. That's Lisa's, my niece's partner out in Pine Creek. Happy birthday to him. And I just want to say it's such a pleasure to hear so much people having birthdays in January. I'm sure, as I said, Ray, I wish somebody would have counted 9 months back. I would have told you something was happening out there at that particular month in our nation. So, again, with that being said, I wish anybody I did miss a happy birthday, and anybody that passed on since our last call, my condolences go to your families. And again, your Métis government is proud to defend you and stand up for you and provide you as best services we can on behalf of your government. So don't forget to all those citizens, First Nation and Métis, we are opening a pharmacy in Dauphin. It'll be this year, and we'd love to have all your business and work with you to make sure we provide the best service possible to you and work together as Indigenous governments to support each other's businesses and definitely help each other to advance and get jobs and create jobs for our people. Just like all other cultures do well, they support each other. We got to do the same. And I think we're setting that example right now, myself and, of course, Chief Daniels and Chief Satie. We're setting the blueprint that if we work together, we're stronger. And I can't say enough. Also, the hunt was a successful, Ray. Nobody got charged. Remember, Pallister was threatening everybody.
Yeah.
He was going to charge them, and he was going to hold us and probably try to jail us or take our properties, our trucks, our vehicles. Nobody got charged. Our hunters did a great job. But there is a serious issue. As I said, Ray, this is I'll close off with this statement. First, happy birthday, little Derek. His first birthday today. He's 1 year old. Happy birthday, Derek. Danielson. So, but let me say this. We are doing a fly-through. It's going to cost quite a bit, nearly $300,000. We are going to do it. I made a promise to our people, and we're going to hire helicopters to be flying into porcupines and ducks, and we are going to count the moose population so our people know the true population. Bobby Church actually was one of the harvesters, and he was picked as one of the harvesters in his family, and the most that they killed was really overwhelmed with wood ticks. And what happens, Ray, I know you're not a hunter, but what happens usually is if there's a very high proportion of wood ticks, they're all over the moose, and they start laying their eggs. So the moose has to scratch like crazy because of the blood sucking that's taking place. And then they scratch against trees, and their fur comes off. And a lot of times you'll see them like furless and have most parts of their body. But if there's a real cold spell, now there's nothing to protect them. So they get sick, end up getting probably pneumonia, whatever it is that they end up getting, and they end up dying. And then the white harvesters, non-Indigenous harvesters, and the government will say, see, the Indigenous people are overkilling the moose. And it's the wood ticks killing them. and so we're going to look at a strategy on that. And I said Chief Daniels and I are creating this new body of looking over our natural resources and harvesting. So we'll be announcing that this year. But clearly, you can see from that. But we'll have a count, Ray, and then our harvesters can know full well what the moose populations and the porcupines, because there's no more hunting. All our Métis citizens listening on the show, after January 15th, the Métis government has made it very clear to our elders there'll be no harvesting of big game after January 15th. So we don't wait. We wait now until the end of July, and then that's when we harvest again, and only with bulls or dry cows. We do not kill any large game in July that has a calf, because if we do that, then how do we increase the population? So again, they have enough challenges as it is. We need to protect that. Again, Ray, I think, of course, Leila Plante was the minister on that file and the work she's doing. And we are getting fish, Ray. I'm waiting for the strategy. I want to thank Chief Crate. I will also thank Sam Murdoch. We are getting 43,000 pounds of fish. That's a lot of fish, Ray. 43,000 pounds. And we will be distributing that across the province. Right now, we're working in all of our regions on the best strategy of how we distribute it to our citizens. And people can call the MMF, put your name on the list, and we'll make sure you get that fresh fish delivered right to your house or a way you can pick it up where we're COVID safe. So again, we're working on that, Ray, and I thank Chief Crate again and Sam Murdoch for that. And again, that shows partnership working together. So we'll talk to you guys next Saturday. And thank you very much for your kind words about my birthday, Ray. And thank you, Cowboy. And again, to all those listening on Métis Hour, thank you for supporting the show. It's a very important show where we share information, updates what's going on in the Métis government. And again, we always commend those that are part of our nation and working in partnership with us. So thank you very much. And I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
All right, David, happy birthday once again.
Thank you. I'm going to get spoiled by my wife here, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
David Chartrand, of course, his birthday today, and wish him a happy birthday. What a man. I can't believe how hard this guy works.